Greetings, Akoma, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Akoma Day. This is the 23rd annual celebration of Akoma Day, and this is a virtual ride that we're asking you to take with us for the 7 days. It takes some willingness and endurance to celebrate love for 7 days. As simple as it may seem, we've been doing this for many years, and it's extremely hard for some of us to express our self-love and our love for the people that we love the most for 7 days in a row, believe it or not.
So today is day one. We're super excited to be with you for another Akoma Day. And today we're going to talk about the virtues and the principles, and we're going to focus on today's virtue and principle. So for day one, the virtue is flexibility, and the principle is unified purpose. So I'm going to read a little bit about flexibility.
Absolutely.
Flexibility, the virtue in a relationship, is key. The ability to bend and compromise on issues concerning the well-being of the relationship will enhance communication fluidity. Flexibility demonstrates respect for our partner's point of view and related desires. The issues of right and wrong are not always relevant here. What's important is that both parties have a tangible example of their expressed ideas within the relationship. A union without exercise flexibility is an imbalanced one and more closely resembles law than love. So, of course, I'm reading from Akoma Day, Guidebook into the Sacred Science of Soulmating and Cultural Alternative to Valentine's Day. This is the first paragraph of the flexibility section. And then for unified purpose, this is the first section of the principle. So unified purpose in an Akoma relationship is a shared understanding of the intent or reason for the relationship. Unfortunately, in today's relationships, we do not thoroughly consider the purposes of our lives or of the relationships we start. So this is extremely important at the beginning on this day, because what you're doing is at the same time being really grounded in a purpose for yourself and a purpose for the union together. You're also committing to being flexible to how that's going to develop over the course of your relationship. So we have suggestions for all of the unifying principles. And the first exercise to really understand a little bit more about yourself under unified purpose is the history of yourself in relationships. So sometimes I think we look at the history of our relationships and maybe look for the correlations in the others. But what's really important is to see if you have any patterns in relationship. So this is exercise one, and we're going to post this so that you can respond and benefit from everybody else who's also doing exercises with us in this week. The knowledge of self within a relationship is as important as a people's knowledge of their history. Use the following to help understand your personal and/or unified history. So list and explain 3 adjectives that describe your childhood. A lot of our beliefs and some of our values, some of our identity, much of it comes from childhood. So whatever you describe here is going to be vital to understanding who you are. What are the consistent themes in your relationships? So this is where you ask yourself, what always happens? Because that's going to be a consistent theme. What happens with the complement sex? What happens in family, friends, and intimate partners? What is your primary belief about the institution of marriage? So you want to say something like, marriage is, right? That's going to reveal your belief. And then ask yourself, how do you think you developed that belief? And how does the belief manifest in your life today? And then the last group of questions, how does all of the answers that you just gave to yourself affect your current intimate relationship? What corresponding purpose does this bring to you and your relationship? So understanding yourself deeply is going to add to your purpose. We all have a purpose, and we have to be more aware of it in order to actually have our life be aligned with it.
Yeah, I think those are a great way to start off and kick off the holiday celebration, and they'll lay the foundation for what we're doing. Many of the things that we'll be sharing are coming from your Akoma Day manual, which is the book, Akoma Day, as Nwasha said, the guidebook to the sacred science of soulmating and cultural alternative to Valentine's Day. So the second day of Akoma Day, the virtue is patience, and the principle is unified labor. And what could I say about patience? Without reading directly from the book, I will say that I think we all know that the second virtue is a virtue, because we all say in pop culture, patience is a virtue. Willfully, you've heard that before. If you have not, it is a very common saying. But what does it mean? It is a concept of higher thought is a virtue, and patience in our relationships is important because we live in a time of microwave everything. Everybody wants their success on speed dial, but many things about success, especially in our successful relationships, require the patience to actually nurture a thing, bondedness, communication, trust, and many other things that we want to experience in love require us to wait, require us to prepare and then wait, right? And so I think that in layman's terms, that's how I would define patience: to be prepared for a thing, to understand its cycle, its life cycle, to seed and then harvest, to then nurture what was seeded or planted, and then wait for the harvest to happen. And I think in relationship, this is important with commitment. This is important with sex. This is important with time shared. This is important with communication. We must be patient to harmonize styles. We must be patient to articulate our deepest understanding or desires. And we must be patient to fully embrace and understand our partner. And so patience is an excellent virtue for day two. And then the day two principle is unified labor. And I think that the work that's put in our relationship is the sum total of it is what our relationship is. So the composite of the work that we put in becomes the actual relationship that we have. And unfortunately, some of us that have been together for a while, all we have is the past. We're not doing active work, or we're not developing active skills that build our relationship. So we want to have unified labor. And on the Akoma Day altar, the symbol for this day of unified labor is the actual Akoma, the shape that is the guiding force of Akoma Day and Black love culture. And so it represents the man and the woman working in their individual character development, coming from the bottom and then going to the top, and then working to reconnect and point back to that spiritual center from which they came. And so that's a great way to apply the art and science of relationships. We got to be patient, and we got to put that work in. So that's day two.
And the third day of Akoma Day is all about faithfulness.
Absolutely.
And unified transformation. So you must have faith in yourself, faith in your partner, faith in the union that you have together as a couple, as a family. And you also have to be willing to change or accept that you're going to change, your partner's going to change, and your relationship will change. Most people, once they're together for a while, understand that you're going to have multiple renewals of your relationship. So we say a lot of times, an elder once said to us, I've had 3 marriages within this marriage, and we know that to absolutely be true.
Absolutely.
For ourselves. So what you have to expect is transformation. Now, that can be uncomfortable because once you make a decision to be with someone, you're saying, this is it, and this is what I want. And at the same time, what you know is you're going to change, and you should want to change, whether that's perfecting your character, growing, doing new things, having more, becoming more. And also you should expect that for your partner. So this is very important for us to understand and recommit to every year, because it's happening. It's inevitable. And we need more attention to it, focus to it, and mindfulness to it.
Yeah, so now we're moving to day 4. And this is about the time where everybody is falling off. And we say that jokingly because we accept the condition that we're in as a group. And we've been doing this for 2 decades now, and sharing this beautiful holiday that has been shared with us through the spiritual realm and has kind of come through us to share with the diaspora. We are grateful that it's been received so well, with thousands and thousands of Black people throughout the diaspora in 16 countries now. But what we know in America, where we are, and in the Western world, by the time we get to the fourth day, we're talking about it's February 17th. A lot of people are
Might as well
on,
be Mardi Gras.
yeah, a lot of people are on St. Patrick's Day and other things of that nature. So it's a funny happening that we see often, as we made a holiday that is 14, I mean, it's 7 days long. So it's a very funny thing for us to see, but it is what it is. We're committed to those around the world who want to be um, the pinnacle, who want to reach the pinnacle level of Black love culture. And so, in order to do that, the virtue that we have to embrace is consistency. We have to be consistent. And this should be easy for us to accept, because I think all of us are looking for a consistent show of thought, speech, and action that reflects love in our intimate relationships. We want to be able to do it, which is easier said than done. And we want to receive that consistently, which is easier said than delivered, right? And so we need to be consistent. It is doing something over and over and over a protracted period of time at a certain level, at a 7, 8, 9, or 10 on the scale of 1 to 10. And in order to do that, it requires some skills. That's what the theme of this year is about, the love skills that elevate the relationship, right? So you need to be consistent, baby. You need to do it again and again and again. You know, there are many things in intimate love that we like to do again and again and again. But there are many things that we need to do again and again and again that we don't actually have the skill to do. I wouldn't even say that we wouldn't like to do them. We would love to do anything that's going to make us successful. But again, wanting to do it and being able to do it are two different things. So we need to be consistent. And in the Akoma Day manual, with some of the exercises that we are practicing and will be showing, we'll be also letting you see some ways you can build consistency. And then the principle is unified fruit. So if we go from the beginning, we had purpose, unified purpose, we have unified labor, we're working together. We then begin to change together. And now we're going into unified fruit. What is that? It is the harvest, it is the bounty, it is the reward. And it also symbolizes our children. So on the Akoma Day altar, at this point, we're dealing with the Mazal Wa Akoma, which is the fruit of the Akoma Day holiday altar. And on our physical altar, we have some fruit. We'll go over the whole altar so you can see it, but it's symbolic of now we're getting a little payback for what we put in. Everybody wants reciprocity, mutuality. We want that. And so this is at the point now, we've done the first three principles. Now this fourth thing is kind of coming back to us. And this is the blessing time. This is the time where we enjoy the bounty of our work. And so that's day 4, fall off day and fruit day.
And right after consistency, we have the virtue of endurance.
Day 5, yes.
Day 5 is about endurance and embodying that in your relationship, that you're going to have to see some things through. And I think that we know that in every relationship, you have to ride through emotions, through challenges, even through rewards and through benefits, and how you can really endure in your beliefs, endure in your values, and endure together because you're sharing, right, parts of your personality. You also have the unified body as a principle, because it's really important for us to honor our bodies. Definitely Black people in the diaspora, we need to take care of our bodies. This is the temple that we're experiencing life through, but this is very much a part of our relationship, and that this is how we experience the senses. So all of the sensual things that come through you are coming through the body. So being fit, being healthy, worshiping your body, appreciating your body and your partners. And there's an element in the science of soul mating where you literally unify when you're being intimate and you're having sex, but also there's an element that you're on the same frequency with the person and you have a sphere, your personality and the energy that even comes off of your body is always interacting with the person that you're in a relationship with. This is why even when you're separated, you can think of each other at the same time. You can have something happen and say, I think something happening. Maybe I should call, right? All of those things mean we have a link in our physical body that we recognize, whether that's heart to heart, as we say, mind to mind, or literally being inside of each other. We take on parts of each other, and this is a way for us to acknowledge that and to experience it more fully because we bring our attention to the shared senses that we have.
Absolutely. And so now we move into day 6. Fondness and goodwill is the virtue, and the principle is unified mind. So listen, do you actually like the person you're in love with? This is something we have to ask. We often ask this about our own family. I love you all, but do I actually like you? We have to question that sometimes. But certainly in our intimate relationship, this is a thing. Because one of the incarnations that we should share as an intimate couple is friends. We should be best friends. We're sharing the most intimacy. We're sharing the most experiences. Now, I'm not saying that we should be our only friends. We should have a range of friends that represent some things that we get in our relationship and even some things that our relationship doesn't provide. The relationship is the highest level of human relation, but it is not the only thing. It has the most variation, the highest potency, the highest intimacy, but there are other experiences that provide things. So we have to understand that. But in fondness and goodwill, we're looking at how do we cultivate and maintain friendship while we're in a relationship, while we're mating and marrying, when we decide to live together, if we decide to have children. And as we grow through the stages of life, how do we maintain friendship is an important thing that we address with fondness and goodwill in the Akoma Day manual and in the holiday celebration. Our principle is unified mind. Do our minds come together? And if you look at our company logo for the Akoma House Initiative, that's of course on the book here, you will see that it's two, a man and a woman in the Akoma shape uniting in the mind, because we need to have the mind is the synonym for the spirit. It is the eternal resonance of being that we call the spirit, right? So our minds need to be connected. Do we need to think alike? No, but we need to think together. And so we need to bring in the linear, practical, step-by-step methodological thought, and we need to bring in the abstract, artistic, cyclical, and engulfing and swallowing feminine thought, right? We need to balance these things in our relationship. Neither one is more important than the other, and they both are deficient in terms of holism without their counterpart. And so this is what we're dealing with. And the symbol of that day is the Ubeli wa Akoma, or the African feather. And we use the ostrich feather of the Nile, Hapi, Nile Valley, to represent the 7 virtues, 10 principles, and 42 laws of Ma'at, our moral ethical compass for excellence in human behavior. And we talk about Ma'at in the book. We give you the 7 virtues, 10 principles, and 42 laws, and we break down how you should utilize that in your relationship.
And then the final day of Akoma Day,
day 7,
full circle, that the virtue is forgiveness, which you will absolutely need to be able to forgive yourself, your partner, and your union together.
Absolutely.
It's something that's very important for us so that we can even come back and renew all of the other principles and all of the other virtues. And then the principle on the 7th day is unified soul.
Yes.
I'm going to say something else. So the soul in indigenous culture is your personality, right? Yes. This is the walk that you've had from day one to today, you're actively experiencing things that make up your unique soul. So it will never be duplicated. No person on earth will ever have the same experiences at the same time, born to the same people in the same location as you. And so, as much as we have so much in common, as Black women all around the world and Black men all around the world, we also have something that's very, very, very unique. It's the most unique thing in the world. And so this is really something important to honor, is that the person that you align with, you'll never forget them. They'll never forget you. This happens even with casual kinds of relationships and strangers, where people live on in your mind a little bit after the time that you've known them. So you still may think of a friend from your childhood, a teacher, even some of the not so good experiences, like a bad waiter, waitress, right? Or a bad customer service experience. You don't even know where that person is on the planet, but you feel unified with them in a sense that their imprint is on your imprint. And so I think it's very important for us to honor the soul, honor the things that make us unique, honor the things that help us share who we are. And this is why I feel like we come right back around to being flexible and to having that unified purpose, because your walk and your soul, it reinforces who you are. And all of those experiences, even though you come here with an imprint, everything is adding to you that you've experienced. And so checking in with that, recommitting to it, celebrating it is very important. And these are the virtues and the principles, and why we think that this is so important to renew every year. And when you celebrate love, it should be with the highest intent, because love is the fuel of people. It's the fuel of humanity. It's the fuel of culture. Really doing something and serving for the love is so important. And it's what's really needed in today's relationships.
So I agree 100%. And we're welcoming you to take this journey with us. We'll be playing this message every day at 7 a.m. because we want you to ride with us for a 12-hour ride every day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 is the number of God. 7 is the number of completion. 7 is the number of systems. It's the number of skills that we'll be focusing on. So you're going to get a lot during this time. We're going to be talking about a skill for each one of these days to go along with the 7 symbols of the Akoma Day altar, to go along with the 7 principles of unified togetherness, and to go along with the virtues every day. And then we'll be sharing some of the many things that are coming in from around the world to see people's altar, to see their activities, to show some past things, music, poems, various different things that are coming in from all over the world. We'll unite for this 7 days and keep our minds and hearts focused on the expression and celebration, the commemoration and renewal of Black love. So we welcome you to Akoma Day. And as always, we're greeting you in the universal words of Black love. We say,
Yeah, come on.
Nia Akoma. Welcome.